Lots of news this week and we've got a lot to talk about. So in this video, we're going to talk about this, and this. Let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome to One Six Figure Focus, and as stated in the intro, there was lots of news this week. So we're going to be talking about the 501st Clone Trooper from the Kenobi TV show. We're going to be talking about Thor from Thor Love and Thunder. And we're going to be talking about this announcement of the BVS Armored Batman 2.0. Now you might be thinking, why aren't you talking about the in-art Batman? I'm going to do a separate video about that because that is a figure I do have on pre-order and I do have an interest in, and I've got a lot to say about it. So we do a separate video on that. It deserves its own video because I've seen those new images, and yes, thankfully they're a lot better than those shoddy images that they released a few weeks back. Alright, so let's start off with this one. So this was an announcement, this one was a, sorry, I'll start it again. This one was a release, this one was a release, and this one was an announcement. Okay, so this one here is the 501st Clone Trooper from the Kenobi TV show. If memory serves me correct, every other time we'd seen clones in movies up to now, they were all CGI. I believe these were the first ever live action clones, meaning that they were actually people in clone armor, kind of like in the original trilogy, the Stormtroopers were people in Stormtrooper outfits. Okay, so basically like 501st members or whatever, you know. Yeah, I suppose hence the name of that 501st organization. So this to me, I typically don't collect, well, no, I'll say this straight up. I don't collect animated Clone Wars figures. I don't collect the VGM computer game masterpiece because I'm not a gamer and so on. I do collect troopers though, and every now and then a little trooper breaks the exception. For example, or breaks the rule, should I say. So if you look at my Clone Trooper display, they're all original trilogy or from The Mandalorian or from Rogue One. But there are a few there. There's two from the prequels, the Clone Pilot, because it's absolutely stunning and unique, and of course Commander Cody, because it's one of the coolest armors out there. This is pretty cool. As much as I don't collect the animated Clone Wars stuff or figures or clones, troopers, whatever, I still think they all look great. Like, it's rare that I see a trooper, whether it's a trooper or a clone trooper, that I don't go, oh, that design looks pretty cool. I appreciate them all, but I just have to draw the line somewhere. This is pretty damn cool though. So this is, just to let you know, this is $235, and if you buy from Sideshow, it has hit waitlist. I'm sure they're available somewhere else, but yeah, it has hit waitlist on Sideshow. Let's take a flick through some of these images. So the first thing I notice is that the blue isn't as it's kind of more of a, what would you call it, a teal. It's more of a greeny blue, and it definitely isn't as, like, it looks more green here now, to be fair, and then here it looks in these blogger images. So these are the prototype images. Looks a bit more of a, it's kind of like a greeny blue, and then here they look a little bit more bluer. But I think the animated series one, they were even more blue. I think pretty much have that right. So just taking a quick look through them. So you got the kind of two different, you got the long rifle or blaster, I cannot remember the name of that, and you get the short one as well. So obviously these are two, one with the longer rifle, one with the shorter blaster. Not much to say about it really. Like, it does look cool. It's not something that I'd be picking up, but it's just I suppose another, there you go, you got the little detonator as well. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I really don't have much to say about this. It's another trooper. It looks cool. This would look cool, I think, say if you had the Kenobi Vader and posed two of these, you know, flanking it left and right. But yeah, definitely not canon. But couldn't you, I wonder if there was talks there, I think, wasn't there, in the Kenobi TV show, we saw Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, so Obi-Wan and Anakin, kind of at training. They did a training fight, and I think there was footage of the Order 66 as well in that show as well. So I mean, you could pose two of these next to your Anakin, but then again, I suppose, like, again, that kind of ties back to what I said at the start of the episode, or the video, that this was the first time we saw the live action. So it was people in the suits on set in these. They weren't CGI, and yeah, it wouldn't look the exact same. So I suppose in Revenge of the Sith there, they actually had any clones there were CGI, and they had the different kind of, maybe different color blue or whatever. Like, yeah. So look, it looks good. It's another trooper, $235, hit waitlist on Sideshow. Should be shipping now. It's released now in Hong Kong. Just want to flick through some of these images, see if there's anything else that catch my eyes. There's just really not too much to say about it. I think it's cool. It would definitely look good in my trooper display, but again, we have to draw the line somewhere. I mean, if the Kenobi show absolutely blew me away, maybe I'd be more interested in the figures from it. But look, yeah, that's it. That's our first piece of news. Second piece of news. Okay, this movie was awful. As I think out of all the movies Thor features in, this was the worst one, and then followed closely by the Thor 2. What was the Dark World? Didn't appreciate that. To be honest, I'm not gone on the character Thor. He's not one that I have a strong attachment to or that I need to have in my collection. I do like Chris Hemsworth. I do like Chris Hemsworth's portrayal of Thor in certain movies. I think probably the one to get would be, if I was going for something, actually that's a tough question, because I'm inclined to say Endgame. Endgame is not your typical look for Thor. I'd say maybe 2012 Avengers would be kind of the look that when I think of Thor, that's what I think of. Maybe they go back and they do like 2.0s of all those 2012 Avengers. Maybe that's the one to get, you know, because you have the kind of the long hair look. He's got, you know, I think he's got the armors and the armor at that stage. He's got the red cape. He's got does he have the helmet in that one? I cannot remember if he wears the helmet in Avengers 2012. Let me know in the comment section down below. So my point is that when I think of Thor, that's what I think of. Now, I probably gravitate towards, I don't have a Thor in my collection, by the way. I probably gravitate towards the Endgame version. Now I know Chris Hemsworth was in there, and a lot of people didn't like what they did to his character. Obviously, gained a lot of weight, and he was suffering from PTSD and depression, and he was kind of the comic relief for the most part. And I think Chris Hemsworth, one of the things he does very well is his comic timing, and his little mannerisms are quite good. He's a very good comic actor. But when push came to shove, and he got like Mjolnir back, and he had the axe as well, and then he kind of suited up, I suppose, when he saw Thanos sitting there at the end of Endgame, when he had that chance to redemption and get him and stuff like that. The action was fantastic. I thought the look was very good. I actually like the Viking look. I know a lot of people prefer the kind of more muscular, leaner look for Thor, but I actually thought the Viking look was quite good. And yeah, it wouldn't be my first choice, but my point is, if I was getting one, it would make sense for me to get the Endgame one, because I do have quite a few Endgame figures, and it would fit next to the big, as part of the big three. I got the Battle Damage Mark 85 Iron Man, and then the Endgame Cap, which are two fantastic figures. But I'm just really hesitant to pull the trigger on that Endgame Thor, because I've looked at loads and loads of reviews, and I've come close a lot of times, and I've seen very, like, let's face it, it's a bargain bin figure. It's easy to find. The buy sell trade groups are they're full of them. It's an easy figure to get, and you can get it at an absolute bargain. But I think a lot of that is because it's probably not the best figure. And like, I did like the look, but I'm seeing different reviews from it. I've watched a bunch of different reviews, and it's just every time I watch the review, it just leaves me going, no, I don't need that figure. I wonder, would HotToys go away and do an artisan version of the Endgame one? Now, the reason I say that is because a lot of the time we think we have HotToys worked out, and when we think they're going to zig, they zag. Okay, when we say, okay, it would make logical sense for them to do this, they tend to go and do the complete opposite. So it probably makes sense if they ever do an artisan Thor that it's one from, say, Avengers 2012. I think a lot of people like that look. But then it's a type of thing, like they have done like a Wanda, an Endgame Wanda, did an artisan version. I wonder would they ever do an artisan version of Endgame Thor with the braids and the longer hair and stuff like that. Like, who knows? This one here, this movie is terrible. There's no ifs and buts about it. It's an awful movie. This is kind of like the anti-triple threat, really. I don't particularly love the character Thor. I definitely did not love the source material here, and I don't particularly like this version. Now, HotToys are just recreating what they see on screen. But the reason I collect these particular figures are because of they're 6-scale versions. They have the realism. They're absolutely stunning pieces for the most part when they hit it out of the park, and especially if it's a character you love from a movie you love, and that particular version you love, and their triple threats and all that, that's fine. This is like, this just looks so toyetic. Like those, I'm not a fan of those lightning effects. Not just the lightning bolt he's holding, but the lightning around. I think that really cheapens the look, and it definitely makes it look more like a toy as opposed to like a 6-scale collectible. Look, we're going to look through this. This is $350. That is steep. Now I want to take a quick look before I take a look at the actual blogger images. I'm just curious to see something. I want to see that head sculpt. I want to flick through some of these images and see that head sculpt. Two things I want to see. The head sculpt there. Let's see if I get a close up. Okay, I think that looks okay there. Not amazing. there any closer? Yeah, it's not the best sculpt. I do like the golden kind of scaly arms, and I think their swap out arms comes on this, to the best of my knowledge. I'm hearing a lot of people say it's a reuse or repaint of the Age of Ultron Thor. I don't know if that's true. I don't have the particular figure, but that particular look, I can see Chris Hemsworth in it, but it's not a great likeness. I don't think that's particularly great likeness. I think the arms look great. So look, just this is what it comes with. And again, these are the prototype images. A deluxe version exclusive comes with the, what is this? The golden arms and the helmet with is it probably an LED function or something like that. I'm not sure what they're trying to show in the left there. Look at this deluxe version exclusive. I know in the middle we can see the helmet. Fine. On the right you can see the golden arms. It must be the swap out arms. And then on the left, I'm not sure what they're trying to show us there, because that's just the chest of the figure. Okay, maybe it'll be in the photos. So you've got the axe with the magic effects. I don't care for them at all. I just think it cheapens the look. You've got the electricity effects there. The boots, it's not an accessory. Stop doing that. Bunch of swap on hands. Your basic. Yeah, it's right. We'll take a look at these images. So these are the actual product images, the final product, the prototype images. Thor, Love and Thunder, Chris Hemsworth, whatever you want to call it. So we'll flick through some of these. I just think it looks a bit too extra, to be honest. Yeah, it's definitely going to pop on the shelf. It might be popping on the shelf for the wrong reasons. Okay, you got the splash of blue and the gold, and I just think it looks too much. And again, that's not Hot Toys' problem. They're recreating what they see on screen, but this comes down to the design of whoever's responsibility, or whatever team's responsibility it was to design this costume for the movie. Just have little to no interest in this. His arms are too big. Like, his arms are too big. I know he's an absolute unit. Granted, he's an absolute unit. The man is jacked. He's probably more jacked in this movie as Thor than even previous ones, to be honest, from my recollection. I remember, like, he was obviously in great shape pretty much in all the movies, all the Thor movies, apart from Endgame, as we discussed already. But I think, like, this one here, obviously the scene where he's in front of Zeus and something like that, and Zeus makes him, declothes him or whatever like that. He's an absolute unit of a human being, but I think even the arms here are even a little too big. Now this is a figure I have zero interest in, and I wasn't going to get it anyway, but I'm not gone on that head sculpt. I can see Chris Hemsworth, I know what they're going with it. I just don't think it's a particularly great head sculpt. I'd say a 6, depending on my mood. I might give it a 7, but I don't think it's particularly great. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. 350 quid is a bit steep as well, but yeah, I don't... that's kind of cool there. In fairness, that pose there and that photo, that's kind of cool there. But yeah, last one then. This one kind of came out of left field. So Hot Toys, where do we start with this? So this year, we have Deadpool 3 or Deadpool and Wolverine coming out. Really, really psyched for that. I'm more excited for that than I am for Joker Part 2 and for any other movie. And I'm excited about Joker Part 2, but Deadpool vs. Wolverine, I think a lot of people out there, collectors, non-collectors, movie fans, whatever, are excited about that movie. But apart from that, there's no other MCU movies, there's no Star Wars movies, there's no DC movies, I don't believe it. There's not a lot of content there coming out, or I even hate saying content, but it's kind of, movies, film, whatever you want to call them. And there's not a lot coming out, save for the TV shows either, in terms of Marvel, Star Wars and DC. Of course, you have the writer's strike as well, so a lot of people are speculating that this is a perfect opportunity. It makes logical sense, doesn't it? Perfect opportunity for Hot Toys, if they still have the licenses, to revisit those old characters from classic IPs that people love. Go back and give us a Terminator from Terminator 1 or Terminator 2, a Sarah Connor, T-1000. A lot of those figures do need to be revisited. They're not all the DX13. I mean, the DX13 is fantastic, standing the test of time. I have one, but could Hot Toys do it again and do it better? More than likely, yeah. Could they do a Sarah Connor better? Absolutely. The T-1000, definitely. Colonial Marines. Give us a Ripley, an artisan Ripley from the first movie with the long hair, or an artisan Ripley from the second movie with the power loader and, with the flamethrower and all that kind of stuff. Like, that'd be kind of internet breaking stuff. But again, that makes logical sense. And maybe they don't have the licenses, I don't know. But the second kind of train of thought was kind of like, okay, they could do the revisit classic IPs and classic characters and make a lot of people very happy, a lot of collectors very happy, or they're just going to give us a bunch of 2.0s, and more than likely that's exactly what's going to happen, and I do think that's what's going to happen. Okay, so they've already, earlier on in the year, they've announced their BVS Batman, just the normal suit without the armor. By the way, this particular figure, they've done 3 versions so far as I know. They did the armored Batman without the battle damage, they did the armored Batman with the battle damage, which I have, and the chrome version. Now, I have the battle damage armored Batman. I'm not a big Batfleck fan, to be honest. I'm definitely not a DCEU fan. I like Man of Steel, I like Suicide Squad 2, and I like aspects of Batman vs Superman because I love the Dark Knight Returns, the graphic novel, comic, whatever you want to call it, and I love the animated version of it as well, and I liked how they took aspects from it, and some worked and some didn't. When they eventually got down to fight, I loved the look. I like Henry Cavill as Superman, and I loved the look of his suit. At that stage, it wasn't as bright and vibrant as the Justice League, which I like as well, but it was kind of like that darker blue, which I still like, but I also love the design of this. I think they did a good job of running it through, I don't know, the reality filter, taking the look from the Dark Knight Returns, running it through the movie filter and seeing what it would look like in real life, and I actually love the look of this particular suit. And I think when they eventually fought together, I think that was great. Again, it's not, I know it's a meme and a joke, but prep time, I liked how they showed Batman, first of all, sourcing the kryptonite, making the kryptonite gas bombs, making the kryptonite spear, training, CrossFit Ben Affleck as I call it, to put that extra muscle on to deal with the weight of this suit. I thought that was all cool. When they actually fought, how he trapped, I thought it was very good. Let's face it, any day of the week, Superman's going to destroy Batman. He's essentially a man, but I suppose Batman is not a normal man. I liked the way they showed how he planned, and you almost got the sense of, okay, maybe this could happen. But yeah, that's why I own this, the battle damaged version, and I have the in-art BVS Superman on order, and I think they're going to look great together. Now this one, to be honest, I can't 100% rule out that I won't sell the one I have and upgrade to this. I can't rule that out. I don't think I will, because again, it comes back to I'm not a huge Batman versus Superman movie. I don't think it's a particularly great movie, but there are aspects I like about it. So I don't think there's enough there that would warrant me to pick it up. Now, it could happen that InArt obviously apparently they're going to do a Wonder Woman and a Batman from BVS, but I don't think they're doing this one. I'm not entirely sure they're doing this one. I know that they've spoke about a BVS, and I can't remember, was it the one without the armor from, like, say, the warehouse scene or this one here with the armor. Because I suppose it would make sense if InArt eventually do this version, that I get that and I pose it with the BVS Cavill. That's what I would do. But if they don't do it then, and if I pose, say, the version that I have, the armored Batman, the battle damage armored Batman next to the BVS InArt version of Superman, and there's a significant quality difference, then I might have to look at delving into this one. But at the moment, no, there's a bunch of fields there from Ireland. We're not from Ireland. At the moment, it's not one that I'm rushing out to pre-order. More than likely won't. But let's take a look at it. So this is the HotToys 1/6 scale armored Batman, and it's 2.0, and this is the deluxe version. So I want to go straight away. I'm going to flick through all these. We will take a slower look at a lot of these photos, but I want to go right to the back. I want to see that slide where you see the difference between this. Okay. So this here, Armored Batman 2.0. Notice they're calling it Armored Batman 2.0. They're not calling it Battle Damage because you have both looks. That's kind of cool, right? Separate rolling eyeballs function. Battle damaged armor. So you've the option to have the battle damaged armor in or not. Do they give you two capes? I can see a cape in the middle there, and it says battle damaged armor. There's a few rips on that cape. I wonder if they give you a regular. They do actually, yeah, because down the bottom you can see a regular cape and you can see the battle damaged cape. Okay, fine. So you've either look. That's kind of cool. You have diorama display base. I believe there's a regular version of this where you don't get all the stuff in the blue. So like, I'm not going to go through the regular version because just say like the deluxe version. Actually, sorry, I've just noticed there. It says deluxe version exclusive, separate rolling eyeballs. Does that mean that the regular version doesn't have separate rolling eyeballs? Okay. The regular version doesn't have the battle damaged armor. Okay. And the regular version wouldn't have the diorama base. It has another regular base. And LED kryptonite spear powered by USB. Like a lot of them, that's a lot of big differences between the deluxe and the regular. So automatically, I don't really need to see the regular. This is, if I was going for one, it would be this one. So you've got like his kind of grapnel gun, his kind of device, the other gun that he used to shoot out the kryptonite smoke bombs. I don't know what the right term is for that, but it's like they're these bombs, grenades he shoots at Superman. When they burst, they release a gas which was made from kryptonite, which obviously stuns him and weakens him. And of course, the one that I have, the battle damage version of this, the first version of this, they do, technically not the first. Let me clarify. They did the armored version, non-battle damage. Then they did the armored version, battle damage, which is the one I have. And then they did a chrome version, kind of looks like the wet look he has when he's in the rain, when he's looking up. But the one I have, the battle damage one, has the grappling gun, has some of these canisters that he shoots out of this gun here, and it has the kryptonite spear as well. Now it's not USB powered; it's regular batteries in it. It's the articulation is not great. It's a bit of a statue, but it has a lot of presence, you know. And I really like it. Actually, it's the only one of the figures. I think it's only 2 figures that I own that I haven't got on display. That's one of them, and the Batman Begins 2.0 reissue, whatever you want to call it, is another one, because I'm waiting on the Jackson Shoe cowl for that one, and I have an OT Customs cape for that one. Basically, I'm upgrading the Batman Begins. The reason I don't have this one on display, or the version of this that I have, is because I'm waiting for the BVS in art. Now that's going to be in storage for a while, obviously. So what else? Brand new, redesigned and highly detailed muscular body, improved paint applications and weathering effects. For the most part, yeah, even though I have a version of this, I do think this one will be better. But the one thing that's thrown me off a little bit, I was looking at the one I had, looks at some photos that I took of it, and I think the likeness of Ben Affleck is a lot more obvious in the one that I have. Because I don't know, I'm struggling to see Ben Affleck there. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on those photos, the face photos later on, but just to compare them. So on the left here, MMS 742D62 and MMS 743D63. So they're the codes on both versions of this, deluxe and regular. So you can see that this one has die-cast parts as well, whereas the other one doesn't. I think there's a bit of a height difference. The new one's slightly taller. Yeah, you can see it. And what else can I notice as well? I'm noticing here the bottom photos here, with the two of them standing up straight head on. The one on the left, the gold of the belt comes through a lot more. The one on the right looks kind of like a steel. Okay, so let's flick through some of these images. I love that image. I just really like this design. Yeah, wasn't the biggest fan of BVS, but there was aspects I like, as I've stated already. I just really like this design. They've done a good job of running it through the reality filter, taking it from the pages and interpret it into reality. I like that. I can kind of see Ben Affleck here, but I gotta say I'm struggling to see Ben Affleck there. And I checked the little blog, and they mention Ben Affleck, so it's not like one of those situations like in The Flash when he was on that bike and then they released that figure and that bike and it really didn't look like him, because I think it wasn't him. I think it was based on a stunt actor or something like that. Yeah, the base, they're doing this a lot where they have these deluxe version diorama bases, and it looks cool, but it's hard to, it limits where you're going to stand him. They've done it with the Ironmonger. Just happen to have that here. Cool enough base. I'll see what they're going with that. I love the way these actually look lit up, but they're not lit up. Just whatever way they're painted, they look like they're lit up constantly, which is fantastic. So the base here, there's a bit of space there. You can pose Iron Man up there, standing up straight and down, but it limits your posing. The best thing to do is maybe put like him with one knee up and one leg down. But I mean, yeah, cool enough, but at the same time, you should make it easier to have multiple different poses, wide stances, narrow stances on the bases that you're displaying, and you're saying it's a diorama display base, but yet you're really limiting the posability there. But I just gotta say, it does look great. Yeah, I can see Ben Affleck a bit more there, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not just saying it because I have it, but I literally looked at photos earlier on. Do you know what? I'm gonna flick one up there. There's one flicking up there now that I took there. I'm going to leave that up for a while. This is a photo that I took of the one that I have. And I can see Ben Affleck. I was always very impressed by how you can see Ben Affleck's likeness underneath the cowl. And he's just showing a small bit of the cowl. Okay. Articulation looks a bit better because the one I have is pretty much a statue. They're the battle damage armor parts, so just swap out battle damage armor. And it's die cast as well. I actually like the die cast touch. I'd say it's going to weigh a ton. You have a little internet breaker tease here. So they're obviously going to redo the BVS. I suppose, look, if InArt are going to do it. This is the second BVS 2.0 they've done, both Batmans, and imagine that's only a matter of time before they release that Superman there, or announce that Superman. I wonder what the head sculpt would be like, because I had the Justice League one, and the head sculpt, you could definitely tell it was Henry Cavill. They didn't absolutely nail it though. I'd say it was maybe a 7.5, maybe an 8. But I wouldn't give it any higher than that. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm kind of struggling to see Ben. Okay, I can see Ben Affleck a lot more there, and it is meant to be Ben Affleck. It does say it in the description. I'm very biased though, like, because I just really like this design, so it doesn't bother me to have done a 2.0. I think overall the sum of its parts, it will be better than the previous version. There you go. There you have the die-cast parts. I know it's kind of gimmicky, but like, I like when, say, if an Iron Man, you know, he's Iron Man, he's supposed to be some sort of metal. I like when there's die-cast Iron Man, and in general, I do like die-cast parts. And look, this is a big, massive metal suit, essentially armored suit, so it makes sense. Like, it's nice when you have something that heavy as well. It just seems like it's a lot more quality. You get more bang for your buck, but I suppose it's each to their own. That's pretty much it, folks. So look, if you're watching this video, I really do appreciate you watching this video, and look out for my thoughts on the images I'm seeing of the newly released InArt Batman. There will be a video up on that later on, and if you're watching this, I can't, depending on what time you're watching this, I may have already done an episode of Visions with Mario El Profesoro. It could be before or after, but it's scheduled for Saturday, the 13th of April at 11 AM Pacific time or 7 PM Greenwich Mean Time. Look, end of the video. If you want to support the channel, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Let me know if you're picking this up or not, if you have any of the other versions, if you can see Ben Affleck here or not. Maybe it's just me and I'm completely wrong, and that's perfectly okay. You can also follow me on Instagram and on X. That's it. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Good luck.